welcome to the Eve Vegas summary. I've got a terrible cold at the moment, so if I sound a bit snotty, then, well, you know why. What I was going to do with this video is really just look at some of the stills that were given to us in the presentation. Firstly, I love the style of this, and I think it's really good. And if you didn't see it, probably worth checking it out on the CCP Twitch channel. This is just a summary. I think really what was good is it kind of showed where it's come from and where it's going, and looking at obviously the few things like current problems, which we're not going to cover too much today. It's really just around maybe where the game's going, maybe some reaction to the Eve Vegas, I guess, experience, if you like. I wasn't there, but I certainly watched the stream, and yeah, it was very difficult to watch at points, but we'll go through that. So let's really go through the slides. I think really the key thing to bear in mind is that, you know, there is still quite a bit of focus on this game by CCP, which is great to see, because I think, you know, a lot of, I don't know why, but a lot of people seem to want this game to die, particularly, and this is where I'd say the main thing for me came from, was the Eve players. The reaction from a majority of the Eve players is very much negative. This could be because I think most Eve players are generally quite sociopathic in their tendencies, and that's different to how maybe this this community is, because we're more console gaming, I guess, and I come from both, I guess. But anyway, let's talk around, I think, some of the reactions from what they're changing. Factional warfare is going to become a much more kind of serious business play. So instead of getting ISK payouts, you'll actually get loyalty points, which is something very much from Eve, and I think that works very well. You have to pick a side, obviously. That's probably one of the negative things to this, but in essence, you then fight for your cause, and it is good. You're going to have things like friendly fire coming in. You're going to have loyalty point special, you know, kind of bonus prizes like guns, mods, suits, tanks, whatever it may be. And this is very reminiscent of how Eve is run currently, and I must say this system works exceptionally well in Eve. So yes, you won't get any ISK, but you'll get items that you can sell on a player traded market. Woo, that's coming finally. I can sell all that crap I've got. So that's something definitely to look out for, because I think certainly the a player trading market is going to make life a lot easier for a lot of people. So I think you know, just keep playing, keep getting your rewards, and you could be a very rich person. Removing the ISK from the Factional warfare, I think, does make it kind of a different game as well, because you actually will, you know, you'll become more immersed, I guess, in the FWPs. So that's probably not a bad thing. The loyalty point store then is going to be racially based. So if you go and run Amar Factional Warfare, you'll start to get Amar rewards from that, which is obviously great. So I think that is something to really look into. So good changes all around. I think, again, I like the fact that they're aligning Eve and Dust a bit more. I think, you know, the loyalty point scheme and the way that a lot of stuff in Eve is working, like the squad finder is obviously the fleet finder. Obviously the loyalty points now becoming a Factional Warfare piece. So this is really good, and I'm quite excited about this. I haven't picked a side yet. I may go Caldari because it seems to inspire a massive amount of emo rage, and I am always fueled and sustained by such rage. Here's an example of one of the things they showed. So this is going to be at the end of match screen. So what you'll have is, you know, for example, you'll actually be defending properly. So you'll actually get the impression that you're defending or attacking, which is quite a change. And you're going to see your track record as well. So how much that, you know, faction warrants and sustains you, if you like. And these are all really good things. So I think this is going to be something quite, you know, fun. I like the idea as well that they're going to like really change the way that the orbital mechanics work in Eve. So again, better tying together Eve and Dust, which is something I really can't wait for. So, you know, this could be something that I think becomes quite cool, you know, certainly coming. Now, they showed this around kind of the way that orbital bombardments work. For some reason, I thought this was how it was already, but I'm probably wrong. But what you're going to see is more of a fight. So again, most of the time, orbitals just come from the war barge, and they're pretty pointless. Well, they're not pointless, but there's no link. Making it so that the FW guys have maybe something more to fight over, because in Eve, you know, the kill is the most important thing. So giving them this kind of Thunderdome style circle to fight within is going to be pretty cool. We looked also at Planetary Conquest 2.0, so we saw a really kind of nice summary of what the issues were. And I think this is where I think the game is going to become quite different. You're going to have real war barges, which at the moment that's an Orca, so I hope it's not that. But an idea I had a way back, and I think Nano and Eddie Rio and I all came up with this idea that there should be resources in Dust that are needed in Eve, and that then gives, you know, really real need for them to kind of acknowledge the Dust link. So that's really exciting. Now, this is something I probably disagree with. I think having war barges manufactured in Eve that have to fly to the planet to then set up and then deploy mercs too, I question if that's going to work. But you know, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to hopefully see that I'm going to be proved wrong. I just know Eve very well, and people in Eve will, you know, one person in Eve will literally shit over 1 million people's enjoyment for their lols. And again, this is the sociopathic nature of Eve. You know, if you haven't been exposed to this, hopefully watching the stream and seeing the chat and certainly seeing some of the speakers that were talking there, you'll see that there are quite serious people in Eve who take it very seriously and want to be kind of the king of the troll. And I think, sadly, we're going to have to obviously sustain and deal with these people as well. A few things that come out as well. Orbital artillery. I love this idea. This has been something we've wanted for a while. So I'm really kind of liking the fact that there'll be the ability to kind of kill a barge from the ground. But again, we'll see how this develops. Corps who have no Eve link, I don't know how this is going to work. So maybe this becomes a contract thing. But again, unfortunately, the contract system in Eve isn't great. So no matter how much money you put up, somebody will probably try and scam you out of it. So I worry that this is probably not the wisest of moves for CCP. But if they say that people want more seriousness and more immersion and that kind of thing, then fair enough. But I would just caution that there must be an easy option somewhere. And again, the beauty of this is that once you've run matches, you then start to collect resources. You can then take these back to the station, you know, flying the war barge back, and then actually start to get revenue and funds from your dust link. So this is really exciting because this is what I think will make the game work. If you can make Eve players want to play Dust because they have to come and get this precious, you know, planet goo, or whatever we want to call it, then this is where I think you're going to see the benefits from this. Again, metagaming is something that I think we don't really have in Dust at the moment, but Eve is filled with it. So I think this is going to be something that will become more of a problem, but more of a fun element within Dust as well. So there we go. I think, you know, in terms of a quick summary, that's certainly what it was. And I think the reaction in the room, and I think just generally, is still very hostile towards us. So I think it takes time. And I think, again, remembering where Eve was at exactly the same point, when I started playing it from open beta as well, I would say that Dust is even more accepted currently than Eve was, because a lot of people were very much, you know, very trolly towards Eve. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll look probably more at some of the output of this in future videos, but I thought that I'd just bring you a quick summary right now. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.